Fred Myers, aka Boomerang, first appeared in Tales to Astonish number 81, which was published in 1966, making him only a couple of years younger than his primary foe, Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. Over the years, he's worked in a myriad of teams and has worn a myriad of costumes, but he made his biggest impact in the 2010s. First, as a leader of one of my favourite comic book teams, the Superior Foes of Spider-Man, and then as Peter Parker's roommate in one of the first comics I ever read, Spider-Man Back to Basics. Consequently, it might not surprise you to find out that here's the aspect of Spider-Man Brand New Day that I'm most looking forward to. But with only one shot of him in a pretty stacked trailer of a movie packed with characters, one must wonder what role he'll play in the movie, and that is exactly what I'm going to try and answer in this video, as I will present you with a series of different roles he could play in the movie, before telling you my ultimate conclusion on what I think will happen with him. Leo Chase Mythmaster here with a video that I'm probably more enthusiastic about making than I reasonably should be. The first option is probably what I see as most likely, and that is that he'll be a one-fight foe who will appear in an opening scene, a shot of a montage, or just one small fight, before disappearing from the movie. As I said, this is what I see as probably most likely to happen, but I wouldn't mind it too much as long as he feels like Boomerang and gets a chance to shine. I'm quickly going to say that his outfit is okay, if a bit rounded, and I'm hoping it looks good in action. But also I'm just hoping he uses more than just standard boomerangs, as in the comic he has a wide variety of boomerang types, such as Razorangs and Boomerangs. The second favourite option is my least favourite option, and that is that he'll show up to fight Spider-Man once or twice, but will ultimately end up being killed by Punisher. Even if we never see him again, I'd prefer for Boomerang to still be alive by the time the movie rolls to a close. But out of all of the named characters in the trailer, Boomerang is the second most likely to be a Punisher victim, with the most likely being Tarantula, in my opinion. In the comics, I'm not sure if Boomerang have ever properly met, but in the Superior Foes of Spider-Man comic run, we learn that people like Boomerang avoid Punisher at all costs. So if Punisher and Boomerang do meet in the movie, I would love to see Boomerang just run away at the sight of him, rather than fighting him and losing to him. This option involves a character who did not show up in the trailers but is heavily rumoured and basically confirmed, but if you don't want to hear it then probably stop watching this video, as all of the other options relate to that character in some form or another. Basically, Tombstone has been heavily rumoured for the movie, and from the trailer with Scorpion, Tarantula and the Hand, it looks like somebody, probably Tombstone, is going to be sending loads of people after Spider-Man, either him, Tombstone I mean, or whatever that possession thing was, which I think will probably end up in whoever Sadie Sink may be playing. In this case, Boomerang will probably just be one of the people sent after Spider-Man, and this fits in with both of the previous options, but gives him a purpose in the plot rather than just being a random encounter. As these options go on, you'll kind of see that Boomerang becomes more relevant in the movie for each of them. Option 4 is maybe my favourite, as it is basically the idea that, as well as being Boomerang, Fred Myers could be Peter's roommate, just like in Back to Basics. This would work with Peter needing help to pay rent, and in addition, one character Tombstone is strongly connected to is Robbie Robertson, of the Daily Bugle, and his son Randy is the other roommate that Peter and Fred have. Sorry about what happened with my voice there, I'm just going to drink some water. Even if, again, we did only see Boomerang in one fight scene, him being Peter's roommate would give him more character and a closer connection to Peter, and Peter could follow him as he sneaks out or something, as he does in the comics. Either this, or he could maybe be someone who knows Ned or MJ, as this would connect both him and them to a story a bit more. Basically, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of things he could do. It's extremely unlikely that he'll be a major villain, but there are loads of other things that he could do, hence why I'm making this video. The last two options are the biggest long shots, but I'd love to see them both as they both relate to the Superior Foes of Spider-Man, who first called themselves the Sinister Six, before losing one of their members. If you haven't heard of them, I would strongly recommend checking out some of their comics, as I cannot tell you how much I love them and the team as a whole. The reason I'm saying all of this is because while none of the other classic members of the team have been confirmed for the movie, I can tie every other member of the Superior Foes to this movie in some way or another, and I will do that from least to most likely to appear. The least likely to appear is Spiderman, who isn't really even a proper member of the team, but has worked with them and stuff. My reasoning is that we kind of saw an emphasized drop of water in the trailer. Yes, this is a massive stretch, but I have actual proper evidence for some of the others appearing. Next up is Overdrive, who first appeared in the era of Spider-Man comics directly after One More Day, which No Way Home was strongly based off. Again, not much of a link, but it's something. A version of Speed Demon appeared in the alternate universe show Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which also featured Tombstone and Scorpion like Brand New Day's going to. But the lack of canonicity means that James Sanders might not even exist in the 616 timeline, but there's kind of a precedence for him being out there. Shocker is here simply because he appears in Homecoming, making him the only other Superior Foe to be confirmed to exist in the 616 timeline. But despite this, he is not the Superior Foe I think is most likely to appear. No, that honour goes to Janice Lincoln, aka Beetle, due to the fact that in the comics she is the daughter of Tombstone, meaning that if she does exist in the 616 timeline, we are sure to at least hear of her, or see her out of costume, possibly acting as a lawyer for her father, and this is like a really big stretch I'm just coming up with now. She could maybe even appear in Daredevil Born Again Season 2, but this is quite unlikely. So what I'm saying is that if Boomerang is even in the same room as Janice Lincoln and they both make it out of the movie alive, or even if they're just both in the movie and survive, I'm taking that as a tease for the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. The final option is the most outlandish, and that is that Boomerang will be a member of the Sinister Six or the Superior Foes of Spider-Man in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm basing this on the fact that many Spider-Man villains are appearing, so it wouldn't be so hard to get Boomerang, Tombstone, Tarantula, Scorpion, and two others, for example, Beetle and Shocker, in a room together and have them be called the Sinister Six. It would be far from a conventional lineup and would be much more of a Sinister Foes in terms of lineup, but that group just doesn't have the right energy to be called the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. The other even more outlandish option in this, category option, is that when Spider-Man is fighting Boomerang as seen in the trailers, he isn't just fighting Boomerang, and that 2, 3, or even all of the other Superior Foes are there, and that the team is making their big screen debut. Screen debut as I don't think they've ever appeared in the show before. As I said, this is extremely outlandish, and I don't expect either a version of the Sinister Six or the Superior Foes of Spider-Man to make an appearance in the movie, but a boy can dream. No, I think my other predictions are much more likely, and with how much is happening in this movie, I'm not sure if I'd even want them to call a group the Sinister Six or the Superior Foes if they aren't a proper version of that team, so to speak. My final prediction is that Boomerang will show up once or twice as a minor antagonist to Spider-Man, and maybe as his roommate, but will be working for Tombstone to try and capture Spider-Man for whatever reason. He might meet Beetle or Shocker, but I don't think we'll be getting anything more superior than that. My main two hopes are that he has done justice and given his comic book personality, and that he makes it out of the movie alive. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and consider dropping a like, comment and subscribe, as I'm hoping to get to 650 subscribers before my birthday in May. If you love the Superior Foes of Spider-Man, or just Marvel in general, then check out my Marvel playlist, because I have content on both of them in there. Remember, God loves you, have a good day, and ta-ta.